Well, I would gladly say this is going to be the last rant of this month, though. So I'm sure a lot of people will be very happy, and this will be the last one of this month. So, but thing is though, but this rant, I'm thinking to myself, hey, okay, here we go. I'm probably gonna get flacked for this. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this one. Because a lot of people like this movie, and you know what? Good on ya. If you like this movie, I'm not here to change your mind. You can have your opinion about it. If you like the film, good for you. It's your opinion. But and I'm always respectful of people's opinions, always, except for my brother, of course, because what's between me and my brother, we're always banging heads. So I already said that before. So when it comes to other people's opinions, my brother and I, we're always having our big clashes with each other. But like I said, but to other people, if you like this movie, good for you, okay? But to me personally, I just don't get it because I don't get why. It's like when I last year when I did that when I ranted on Long Legs and all the praise that film got, all the praise that film got. Same thing with this. I just don't get it. Is this the state of horror films nowadays? I just don't get it though. I really don't. I don't get why this film made so much money. I don't get the 94% of Rotten Tomatoes this film gets or the 7.6 on IMDb this film gets. I just don't get it. I don't know why this film made over 120 some million or 30 some million in the US. I don't get why it made 260 million worldwide. I just don't get it. I think this is one of the most overrated horror films of this year, along with Sinners. Which I'll have to do that some other time, though. I just couldn't do it this month for Sinners. Yeah, the one that Michael B. Jordan, that Ron Coogler directed, the vampire film. I think Sinners is very overrated. Another one that I don't get why that film made a lot of money. I have no idea why, or the praise either. But same with this film. I just don't get the praise of this film. I think this is one of the most. This and Sinners are the most overrated horror films. Well, and to me, one of the most overrated of this year. I just don't get it. I really don't. Because I'm not a after. It's directed by the guy who directed Barbarian. Yeah, Zach Cregger. This is the guy who directed the film Barbarian from, was it 2023, I think? I think it was 2023. I was not a fan of that movie. I thought I was a bit underwhelmed by it. I wasn't a fan of Barbarian. So when I heard that this was it's from the director of Barbarian, I'm like, oh great. I just don't get it about this. To me, I think this is a very slow. I thought it was a very boring movie. I thought not a lot happens. Oh, what do you mean? What not a lot happens? There's killing in it. The gaps between where really supposed to where it happens, not really much what happens. I'll get to that though. Okay, so, but listen, I think it's a very boring movie. I think it's slow. Not much happens to me, and not much happens, and some stupid crap that I think I just don't get. With the characters. But okay, before I get into the details, let me get into the story first, which people already know what they got from the trailer. Story is okay. 17 kids from this one classroom, right? At 2:17 in the morning in this town in Pennsylvania, I think, in Pennsylvania. And 2:17 at nighttime, they all just run out they all run out the doors. They all run down the street and they don't come back. Except for the one kid in the classroom named Alex. He's the only one that's not missing. And so the parents and the commuters of the town, they're all blaming this teacher, thinking that she had something to do with it. And And one of the angry parents is Josh Brolin. The teacher is played by Julia Gardner, which I just reviewed earlier. Not that just this month. She just starred in the film Wolfman, the little 2025 reboot of Wolfman that came out earlier this year in January. I just talked about that. I just talked about that film, and I was not a fan of that movie. Sad to say, because it was from the same director who did the Invisible Man 2020 remake. But to me she was a bland character in that movie. And also that Julia Gardner, not only that though, but another film that came out this year that I ranted about. She was the Silver Surfer from Fantastic Four: First Steps. Probably could say wannabe T-1000. You could say. Yeah, she was the Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four: First Steps. Here I thought she did okay in this one. Okay, she did. I think she did okay in this one. Josh Brolin, and I said this before a couple of times. Originally they wanted Pedro Pascal to be in this, but they got Josh Brolin instead, though. Which I'm like, thank God, because I think Josh Brolin's a much better actor than Pedro Pascal. But I'm just tired of seeing Pedro Pascal now. I think he needs to, like with Bill Skarsgård and some of these other actors. They keep on popping up in every movie nowadays, or TV show, but they just need he and some other ones I referenced. They just need to go away, please. So I thank God at least Josh Brolin replaced Pedro in this movie, because I think Josh Brolin's a much better actor, and I liked him a lot in much better movies than Pedro Pascal does. But at the same time, Josh Brolin's character doesn't do much, you know. He doesn't. Yeah, he I'll get into reasons why though. But I'm saying, getting back into the story though. So the parents are, including Josh Brolin, they're angry at Julia Gardner, who is his teacher of the classroom that got missing. She basically gets blamed for it. She has something to do with it. She says she has no idea what's going on. She liked those kids. I don't know why they went missing from her classroom. From my classroom, he says. And she's being attacked, and she starts buying alcohol. And it's also kind of like sort of anthology, from different points of views of other people. It's trying to be like, in the way of Pulp Fiction, where it takes place, the different stories from other characters, I'm sorry, you're not Pulp Fiction. You're trying to do like that, say like Pulp Fiction. You're not Pulp Fiction at all. That's number one. So the first where we get from the teacher's perspective, Julia Gardner's. We get from her perspective. So after all that, she goes to a bar. She meets with this cop who used her ex. You can say her ex. You can say, not husband, but boyfriend, who's a cop. They do a little get together. You can get what I mean. And so then she goes to buy alcohol. She gets attacked by the new hubby of the cop. And then her car gets painted, has witch painted on it. And then for some reason she has a nightmare. She sees basically the whole thing, which the witch. Why she has a nightmare where she is in bed. She looks up and she sees the witch. Why she has a nightmare where she sees the witch? I have no idea why. It looks goofy as shit. So yeah, and also the thing is though, when I first saw this trailer, yeah, okay, it didn't give too much away though, but thing is though, I was kind of piecing together what was going on, because how the way these kids were running, and the title's called Weapons, I'm like, okay, these kids are being controlled by somebody, right? I'm not thinking it's either like some kind of, maybe a sorcerer or how to say a witch, but we didn't see no aspects of a witch, not yet though, but these kids are being controlled by someone. So when I heard about, when we found who the villain is, okay, so I was kind of right, so it was this person. Turns out to be a witch. Well, I didn't think it was an actual witch though. I thought someone else like using some kind of technology, like some sort of that meant of brain waves to control these kids, certain kids, right? I thought it was kind of something like that though, but or some type of hypnotism, but it turns out, well, I guess it is, because it kind of puts in the trance to make him go into this one direction. So, but I was kind of piecing together from the trailer that someone is controlling. They just all just don't go running out and running the exact same way. I'm like, which that's another thing. I thought it was silly and goofy. You see it on the poster, how the way the kids are running with their arms like this, you know. I think looking up, they took that from, what was it called, the Napalm Girl, this girl from Vietnam, where she was this girl who was grown up now, but she was a kid. She was like naked, burned from napalm, and her arms are all like this, screaming. I think that they took inspiration from that. But either way, though, it looks silly just how the way they're running like this, and especially with Benedict Wong's character, especially he's running with buggy eye like this. It just looks silly and goofy as shit. That's what it is. Okay, and that's another character. Benedict Wong is in this, as I mentioned him. He's the principal of the school, and he happens to be gay. Okay, and so he has a partner, and I'll get to his perspective in a minute. But that's what I'll say for right now, though. But get back to Julia Garner's character. After she finds the alcohol, she sees the random nightmare she has where she sees the witch, which I don't know why, but it looks goofy as shit. We sees her on the ceiling. It just looks goofy as shit. I'm sorry about that. I don't get what's so creepy and what's so scary about this movie. I don't think anything was creepy or scary. And then she tries to question the kid, the one kid that's still there, Alex. And so she kind of follows the kid to his house. She sits in the car, and she falls asleep like this. And we see the witch going out of the house, going towards her car, and she gets in the back seat. Which, okay, if you're a heavy sleeper, okay. But thing is though, to me personally, I'm not a heavy sleeper. I hear things while I'm sleeping though, right? I may be asleep though, but I can hear certain things like, well, take my neighbors for example, because my neighbors back here, right? Sometimes they're loud. I can hear them. Even when I'm sleeping, I can hear them, because they're always, they're partying and all. I can hear them sometimes because they're right next to me. Or some other noise too, though. So, but I guess I'm not a heavy sleeper, so I guess I can't put my point in though. But the thing is though, even if I'm sleeping like that, I would probably hear something. One of my doors opening, and somebody will or at least hear something like that's close to me right here. The witch has some scissors to cut some of her hair, and she doesn't feel that, or she doesn't even hear the sound of her hair being cut, right? Maybe how it comes off, it was silly to me though, but it just came off as silly to me. So then, because of that, then later she's talking with Josh Brolin at this gas station, and then all of a sudden they see Benedict Wong running towards her and attacking her. Josh Brolin tries to help, tries punching him, but it's not doing any good. She runs to the gas station and breaks the door down. She drives away, and Benedict Wong's following her. Josh Brolin tries to follow, but then Benedict Wong ends up getting hit by traffic. And we see a little bit gory aftermath of his head smashed in. Okay, it's a decent gory effect right there of the aftermath. So then now we get Josh Brolin's perspective. So he's in construction. One of his kids is in the class that goes missing, Matthew. And he has a little bit of slip up of at his job in construction. So he slips up a little bit with an ordering. And then he starts having a dream. First, he has like a random scene where I shit you not. He sees like a machine gun in the sky where it has like a count, like a number. Like how the machine gun from Aliens, right, has the bullet count, right, where as you're shooting, counts the bullets down before you run out of the ammo. He sees like a machine gun that has kind of like a bullet count, but it says the time 2:17 when the kids left, right? Why does he see a machine gun in the sky? It's not relevant to the story. It's just a random machine gun with like a bullet count with the time when the kids left on it, 2:17. How is that relevant to the story? I have no idea. It plays no part into it. And then later, when he has another nightmare where he thinks his son is in his room, and then boom, another jump scare. Because that's how you scare people nowadays with jump scares. They do that with the witch on the ceiling, and they try to do that with the Josh Brolin's nightmare scene. And then he's one, and back at the town meeting, because of the different perspective, right? Town meeting, he's blaming the teacher for the kids, and he's the one who painted witch on the woman's car. And then I guess no one else thought this up except for him, to go to ask other neighbors to check their doorbell cameras or other security cameras they have. How no one thought about this? No idea. But that's one thing. No one in this town is looking for the kids now, except for Josh Brolin. Sorry about that. I got a text and I was answering that. Sorry about that. That's where you heard the beep from my phone. When you get a text. Sorry about that. But anyway, but I was like, no one else is looking for the kids except for Josh Brolin. He's the one who. How no one in this town or the cops thought the idea that you should go to each person's house and check their cameras. And let alone, speaking of cops, 17 kids from one classroom goes missing. Why doesn't, like, the FBI does not get involved in this? And shouldn't this be, like, on national news? 17 kids from this school, this one classroom, disappear without a trace. They just... Shouldn't that be big news? And shouldn't doesn't the FBI shouldn't that be involved in this? I guess not. I guess the community want to keep this as quiet as possible from anybody, I guess, from the outside. But the cops aren't searching, they're just fiddle fucking around, I guess. So I guess big time news and FBI don't exist in this, because I mean, it's not just one kid that's gone missing. It's a whole classroom full of kids. 17. How the other authorities are not involved in this, or this has become a big news story, I have no idea. That's one of the dumb things about it. And Josh Brolin is like the only person who figure out the idea. Oh, let's check these cameras from these other houses and see what happens to the kids. I don't know. So he goes to one house and to one of the missing kids' parents, and the father is played by Justin Long, who the director who used him in his previous film Barbarian. And I like Justin Long, but he's here for a cameo because Zach Cregger used him in Barbarian. So he's looking through all the footage, and he sees all the kids going out, and he sees them going. Which, by the way, why there shouldn't be any cameras? Because if they're all leaving the house and they're heading to one direction, shouldn't there be like any cameras that see them go down the same street? Shouldn't there be any security cameras? Like if there was, shouldn't there be like a house that like has like shows the street that shows the street going straight down this way, so they can see all the kids where they're going to if they're heading down that street? I would know because mine's facing another house on the other side of the street, so I can't go see. Well, actually, no, I'm on a cul-de-sac right here. That's the end right here, and I can see my street stay down that way. So if I had a camera, I would probably see from that angle. I would see the kids going straight down the street, you know. But I guess there's no camera, so it is kind of convenient where there's no cameras pointing exactly down the street. But anyway, Josh Brolin, he puts it all together that wherever they came from, they all cross into this one spot, and that's where he goes and tells Julia Gardner that it all leads to Alex's house. And then she goes to the gas station, that's when leading back to Benedict Wong. And then we get Benedict Wong's point of view. He's the principal. Like I said, he's gay. And so then the Alex's aunt, Gladys, comes by because saying that Alex's parents have become ill or not fit right now. So I'm currently the legal guardian, you say, so you can talk to me. But Benedict Wong is still like pushing like to I want to speak to the parents still, and then she later drops by their house, and just the way how the way this woman looks, it's a cliched. It's definitely a cliche villain look of this person. You can tell straight she's an evil person. How the way from the wig and the big huge glasses and the makeup. I mean, if it was supposed to be even in a straightforward horror film, you know it's a dead. I know she's a villain straight off the bat because, but just the way it looks, it's a dead giveaway that she's an evil villain. But I know it's a very positive. It's an acclaimed film, so I'm not supposed to take it seriously. But she goes and takes like the hairs or she took Benedict Wong's ribbons. So she does some voodoo magic with it, wraps it on the stick, and you cut your hands, wrap it with the blood of it, and then you snap it. They're now possessed. They're in her control now. So she possesses Benedict Wong to kill his partner. Headbutt, just continuing headbutts his face in into from his, yeah. So he's constantly continuing headbutting his face in. So I got another text message right here. Give me a second. Sorry. Sorry. And then for some reason he spits up. He spits up this black liquid. Which wait, trying to be like Evil Dead. I don't get that. I don't get that part though. But I guess that's when you're possessed. But if they're possessed and they expel the stuff, why doesn't another one like the cop or? Sorry, I'm just ignoring that now. I don't want to keep on going, getting into my phone now. Sorry. Maybe it's whoever's texting me wanted me to stop this review. Probably. I don't know. So, but why the cop or the junkie, which I'll get into them though, but why can't they? Why at least I have no idea. So after that, she later it controls him, tells her to go after Julie Gardner, and as we see him running with the whole buggy eye, and then which leads back into chasing, then get hit by traffic, and then we get to this cop, which that's one of the thing. The whole cop and um junkie story perspectives you didn't need. That could have been they both could have been easily cut out and could it would have been better for shortening the running time. I mean, all for the cop's perspective, he used to know ex of Julie Gardner. He sees a burglar who turns to be this junkie trying to break in. He chases him, stops him, checks him, see if he has any weapons or anything. He gets his finger pricked because it's a dirty needle, so he punches him. And since his dash cam was on, he's afraid he's going to get in trouble, so he lets the guy go. And then with the junkie, you know, he goes to this house to steal some stuff, which turns out it's Alex's house. He sees the parents, but they're sitting on the couch still. And then he finds the kids in the basement. He runs out and he gets caught by the cop again. And gets put in the backseat of the car. Say, hey, the kids are there. You know, do I get the reward? Well, he originally tries to. He noticed the kids, but he notices that the kids they're the ones that are missing. So he tries to get the reward, but he gets caught. The kids put in the back of the cop car. He tells Paul, that's what his name, Paul, the cop was. He goes in the house and then he comes back possessed, drags the guy in there, and then he gets possessed by the witch. You know, you could just cut because both of them combined total comes out to like what 20 minutes of the movie. You could just like establish, okay, the guy is the ex of Julie Gardner. Sees he could have caught the guy, skipped the stuff like him punching the junkie. He could have just skipped to a little part where, oh, he sees the guy coming out of the house with a bag. He's robbing the place. And then is when he tells him about the kids and puts in the back of the cop car, and after that, both possess whatever. That could have shortened the running time for about maybe 15 minutes. You didn't need all that in there with the whole his perspective and then the cop's perspective both combined total. You didn't need that. So I think they both could have shortened their times. And by the way, during this whole investigation, the kids are hiding in the basement. She keeps the kids in the basement. Now, when the kids first go missing, and the cops question Alex at his, I think they question at his place, and then I guess I guess him only, but did they ever go to his house? If I almost a blank that idea because if they did, why couldn't they search the house? Oh, they didn't have a warrant. Okay, but I'm sure they would have questioned the parents like are taking on how they're not all there. I think that would have been very suspicious anyway. Like this witch doesn't know how to keep a low profile basically. I'm like, instead of just taking all the kids in the classroom, why could you just take it one at a time? Or take another for a kid, have him take another thing from another kid from another class. That way, you can mix things up, not just having kids from one classroom keep on disappearing. I mean, would it be better to just do it one at a time, not have all of them come in at once? And also, why she tells the kid to keep a secret. Oh, also, I'll make the parents hurt themselves or kill themselves, right? Instead of doing that, why doesn't she just control Alex? Because wouldn't that be more, be him be part of the group and he would go missing? And, if she probably would have told him, maybe she could have been fine though. But no, and and so many things like she can control the parents and make him hurt themselves, right? Why didn't she like make Julie Gardner kill herself? Because she had her hair, she cut her hair. If she can control her, why doesn't she control her to kill herself that way? Because she knows that she's been asking questions, especially about Alex, right? Why doesn't she just, instead of just having Benedict Wong go after her, why doesn't she just control her and maybe make her kill herself? Because, oh, the people think, oh, okay, maybe she feel guilty, maybe people think that she's actually the one who did, but so she got overwhelmed with all this guilt, though, she killed herself, okay. Make her jump into traffic, make her get run over, or if there's a bridge, may have her jump off a bridge, I mean, wouldn't that be much more easier and a little less inconspicuous? Instead of sending someone to kill her, you took her hair. Why didn't you just control her and make her kill herself? I mean, I just don't get what is this witch, the witch bitch, you can say. If she can make the parents hurt herself, why doesn't she control the teacher? Why doesn't she control Alex, the kid? I mean, instead of just telling him to keep a secret, why doesn't he just control him and make it part of the, instead of having just being by himself, which kind of, okay, people, it's gonna raise questions. Okay, so these parents you could say are not right. Oh, this aunt of theirs is who's related to them. Oh, and this kid who's is the only one in the class. I wonder if that should be a little bit. That should be a little bit suspicious, don't you think? And I guess the cops don't search. If they question the kid at his house, why didn't they search the house? Okay, they don't have a search warrant. Well, the thing is, there's no FBI or national that don't exist. So why don't they search the house? Why don't they search the basement? If they searched the other places in the house, why didn't they search the basement? If she was hiding the kids down there. like I said, if this is a huge priority because 17 kids go missing. But like I said, FBI or this doesn't make big national news. This doesn't exist in this world, I guess. So, like I said, the junkie and the cop. Most of the story part doesn't. It was not needed. And then we get Alex's perspective. We get the kid's perspective about the aunt coming over. Oh, and I forgot to mention the aunt, Gladys. Um, she's played by Amy Madigan. She was the girlfriend of Uncle Buck. You know the movie Uncle Buck with John Candy. She was the girlfriend from back then. Of course, I wouldn't recognize her because I haven't. Well, last time probably I saw her was Uncle Buck, so I wouldn't have recognized her, especially all the makeup and stuff like that. At first, I go, really? That's her from Uncle Buck? Really? Jeez. So she comes in, moves in, and then she starts controlling the parents. She tells the control parents, tells the kid, shh, or I'll make the parents hurt themselves. Makes the father and mother stab themselves with a fork, and says, okay, I'll do it. But she has to constantly keep feeding them because they're if they're controlled, it makes them like be superhuman because like with Benedict Wong or the other kids, while they're running like this, they don't feel any fatigue. You can't wake them up or snap them out of it. You know, they don't feel fatigue while running so much like Benedict Wong did running. I guess if you are under control, you automatically know where they are, despite that it's like a quite distance away. So she tells them she tells him take like a memento from each of your students in your classroom to give them to her. That way she can each one control them and bring them over here. So I guess by each one you does it wrap them up and you cut your hand and then snap it and then that's when the possession comes. So that's basically legit of the kid's perspective. And so and then afterwards that's when but Julie Garner and Josh Brolin they put the two and two together. They go to the house, Alex's house, and that's what they see the cop and the junkie are both possessed. Josh Brolin doesn't do anything, and he goes down to the basement. He finds the kids, but like an idiot though, not knowing what's around him, and then boom, the witch is right in front of his face, and and quickly possesses him. And that's another thing. She can do this pretty quickly. Why doesn't she just control other people? Like, that's another thing of being not inconspicuous. Why don't they stay at the house? Why can't they just like maybe control someone else who drives a bus or a big pickup truck? One of those big moving trucks. They can open the door, those long doors, and you pull down. Why doesn't it control someone with like a bus driver or another one of those big truck drivers? And then they can all take the children. They can just get away. Why stay at the house? Well, I just don't get it. So, so like I said, Josh Brolin goes down there like an idiot. He gets easily possessed, which, like I said, if she can possess people really quickly. She can possess a whole bunch of people if they get the stuff that they're like the memento or some personal item that's with them. And so Josh Brolin's possessed, tries to strangle Julie Gardner. Oh, not before that. She shoots the cop and the junkie because, well, she's the one who has to save the day because Josh Brolin. What people gonna say? Oh, because he's a guy and guys are useless and women are stronger, right? That's why she has the ability to kill the two cops and then Josh Brolin gets easily possessed, because he hasn't. Like I said, Josh Brolin doesn't hardly do much of anything in this movie except figure out, where the kids have gone to, put on the map and all that stuff. It's basically all what he did. And like I said, why does he see a machine gun in the sky? It's irrelevant, which it makes it irrelevant. So while he's trying to strangle Julie Garner, the kid Alex, um, the parents are attacking him, but he pulls a little voodoo switch of his own, takes something personal of the aunt, and then does the whole ritual thing and then snaps it, and now he controls the kids and makes them go after her. She senses it. Oh no! She runs for it, and then you get all the kids like breaking through the windows and stuff. They chase her, going through house to house, and people are like, "What the hell's going on?" You know, as both the aunts and the kids are running through windows and doors. They're like, "What?" And you do get pretty much it is the easily the goriest thing in the movie, where they catch her and then they literally tear her to pieces with their bare hands. Okay, that is a good gore effect. I will give it that. Okay, it is a good practical gory when they're tearing her face to pieces, ripping her limb from limb. It is a good gory effect. I will give it that. And then afterwards, after she's dead, now all the spell on everybody is now broken. Now Josh Brolin, he snaps back, lets the girl go, and it's funny like he he snaps out of it, but he's like doesn't remember what he was, because I guess when you're not out of it, you don't remember what happens. But she's on the floor, like, oh, he doesn't bother say, hey, are you okay? Doesn't even bother checking on her after he dropped her afterwards. He goes and runs out, follows the trail, and finds the kids and finds his son. But I guess the kids, everyone who was, except for Josh Brolin, but everyone else, the kids and the two parents are still in a trance still. Like, when Josh Brolin picks his son up, he's still, like, motionless. And then it ends with the kid Alex. He's been narrating this whole time, like the beginning at the end, and they say after they got the parents back, some of them began to speak. But the parent, like he's hugging his parents, but they're still like emotionally out of it or mentally out of it still. And the film kind of ends kind of like abruptly, you know. I mean, just like okay, like Josh Brolin finds his son, but I guess he's not concerned about the other kids. It was like, hey, are you kids okay? You know, he only just takes his son and walks away, and then just ends like that abruptly. I mean, at first, like, he doesn't bother saying, "Hey, Julie Gardner, are you okay? I'm sorry if I try to do that to you." And the kid's like, "Hey, kids, are you okay? Oh, my son Matthew, are you all right?" He just takes his son, doesn't bother checking on the rest of the kids. He just takes his son and walks down the street, but he's still like in a daze still. Like I said, I just don't get. After I watched this, I'm like, what is so great about this movie that critics are praising about? What is so great? I just don't understand it. To me, it was slow. It was boring. It was never scary. That's what that boring. I was gonna say creepy, but scary is a much better word. It was never scary. I mean, the cop story perspective and the junkie's perspective could have been easily cut out, except for, okay, he finds a burglar coming out of the house, tells him about the kids, and then he ends up getting best. The rest of it, for both their perspectives, could have been easily cut out. Could have slowed the pacing time though, but I mean, and the acting, I would overall say was not bad. I mean, I think Josh Brolin did fine for what he did. Julie Gardner, out of all the three films she did this year, Fantastic Four and Wolfman, probably say I like her performance. Maybe I'll say I like her performance better in this film than the other previous two. But not saying much though. But I think she was okay in this role of this instead of the other two ones I mentioned. The whole concept of this whole thing, this witch just taking the kids just to get, what, to suck the life force out of them, for longevity. I mean, she doesn't really explain that, oh, I'm doing this because I want to live longer, or I want longevity, or live eternal, immortal. She doesn't really say those words, but she doesn't really say that. She doesn't say, I want to get these kids because, keep it a secret because I want to suck these kids' life out of them. She doesn't really fully, unless I missed it, but and then like I said, she doesn't know how to be inconspicuous. She doesn't like why. First of all, if you take the kids, why stay at the house? Why can't you just get a bigger car or bus to leave and take them elsewhere? Or why take all the kids in the classroom at one time? Why couldn't you take like one from this classroom at a time and mix it up, like take another kid from another class? That way it's not coming from the same classroom. And then except the kid who's your nephew. That'd be a little bit suspicious, isn't it? This witch bitch is an idiot. She doesn't know how to how keeping a low profile. That's the thing. She doesn't know how to understand the terms low profile. And so, and then, whether the girl has a nightmare seeing the witch on the ceiling, it looks goofy as hell. Why does Josh Brolin see a machine gun in the sky? It plays no part in the movie, except when it has like a bull counter, like you see in Aliens. With a bull counter, like I said. And then, why doesn't the witch control Julie Gardner instead of sending Benedict Wong to kill her? Because like I said, if she cut her hair, why doesn't he just control her to like make her kill herself? That would be that way people could fully put the blame on her. Because I think she was asking too many questions from the kids, so that's why she was getting suspicious. So why doesn't he control her and make her kill herself? If she controlled the parents to make him hurt himself, why doesn't he control the teacher? No idea. This lady does not know what she's doing. And then what? Why doesn't she control Alex? Have him become like one of them, and that way, because like I said, instead of keeping a secret, why does he just make it part of the missing kids? That way, the kid does not spill anything. Which I don't know. It's just. I think she would have been fine if she didn't say anything to Kid just to control him. And then Josh Brolin pretty much doesn't do anything else except he slipped at doing his job. He's the one who figures out about going through the cameras, which again, no one else didn't think about this, but looking through the cameras, seeing each of the direction that their kids went to. And where's the FBI in this? Since it's 17 kids missing at the same time, you think this would be a much bigger priority, Like, bring in the FBI. Search everywhere in this town, every house in this town. And shouldn't this be make big time news? But no, I guess that's not a thing in this world, I guess. And why didn't the cops go if they question the kid, why did they search their house to see if there's anything, why is it the basement? Yeah, that's what she was keeping them down there the whole time. And the whole thing with them running like this, it just looks silly as shit, And especially Benedict Wong when he's running with his buggy eyes, Why did he puke black liquid like it's Evil Dead? I have no idea. Yeah, but besides the acting between the two leads, Josh Brolin and Julie Gardner, they're not bad, The good gory effect when the end gets when the witch gets torn apart, that's a pretty good gory effect. I'll give it that as well. The score, I don't remember I don't remember anything about the score. So it's like I'm sitting here, I'm watching, and I'm like, why this film made so much money? Why do critics give this film 94% Rotten Tomatoes? I have no idea why. Because I said it was a boring movie. not a whole lot happens. I just don't see it. Now listen, if you like the movie, to each their own. I have my in my opinion, I just don't get it. I think this is very overrated. Same thing goes for Sinners. Both those films made over. I know it was Sinners that made over 300 million, but this made over 260 million worldwide. I don't get why these films made so much money, because I think that both of them are the most overrated horror films, or films in general, of this year alone. So yeah, Weapons, and I'm not a fan of this director. That's why I did not see this film in the theaters. I didn't bother it. That's why I have other ways to seeing it. Just like I said, that's why this is the last full rant of this month, though, because now after this, now I'm getting to two. I'll say this: it's two horror films I liked that came out this year that I liked. So I'm ending on a good on a high note here with two good films I like this year, in my opinion. So so I hope you're looking forward to those, in the closing moments of October month of Halloween. Yes, but to me, this film sucked. Like I said, you like the film, good on you. To me, in my opinion, this film sucked, and it can kiss my ass. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. And we'll see you next time. Later.